Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be showing you all the best features of the Realme 8 Pro. By the way, I've already posted a dedicated video for the tips and tricks section where I've talked about many things which I won't be covering in this video. So definitely check out that video as well, link will be in the description. Now with that said, the most highlighting feature about this phone would start off with its performance. This phone sports a Snapdragon 720G processor with Adreno 618 GPU. With up to 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.1 storage. These are the benchmark scores. Purely in terms of performance, this is one of the best phones that you can get from Realme. Next best thing about this phone would be its display. This phone sports a 6.4-inch Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 1000 nits. Once again, this is definitely one of the best displays that you can get in this price segment. Next best thing about this phone would definitely be its cameras. On the rear, this phone has a quad camera setup with a 108MP primary camera, and for selfies you get a 16MP camera with Sony IMX471 sensor. These are some sample shots. Next best thing about this phone would definitely be its charging speeds. This phone comes with a 50 watts Super Dart charger. This phone is powered by a 4500 mAh battery, and when you charge it with a Super Dart charger, you can get up to 50% of battery in just 17 minutes. And you can completely charge your phone from 0 to 100% in about 45 minutes. So that's definitely some pretty incredible charging speeds. Next, this phone also comes with a wide-angle camera. It has an 8MP ultra-wide-angle camera with 119-degree field of view, and these are some sample shots. Next, this phone also comes with a dedicated macro camera. It has a 2MP macro lens with f2.4 aperture, and you also have a dedicated ultra macro mode for taking macro shots. These are some sample shots. Going on next, this phone also comes with an in-display fingerprint scanner. As for the performance, it is pretty fast and pretty reliable. It unlocks the phone in less than a second. Here's a quick preview. Next, this phone also has the face unlock feature. In good lighting conditions, it works really well. It is super fast and unlocks the phone within a second. In low lighting conditions, it still works and it is still pretty fast. In complete darkness, it still works, but it is slightly slower when compared to good lighting conditions. Here's a quick preview. Going on next, we have a new dedicated 108MP mode. Even though this phone has a 108MP primary camera, by default whenever you take a picture, it compresses the image using pixel binning. So for some reason, if you want to get a bigger 108MP picture, you can use this mode. Usually there isn't much difference between a regular picture and a 108MP picture. With the bigger picture, you just get more details. Next we have Ultra Steady mode. This is a brand new feature from Oppo which super stabilizes the footage. Here's your regular footage recorded in normal mode and a comparison with the Ultra Steady mode. We also have something called Ultra Steady Pro mode, which is actually supposed to be better, but the results as of now aren't that good. Maybe it can improve with an update. Here's the sample footage. Next we have a new time-lapse modes. Well, we have the regular time-lapse window, and there's a new option over here for the blur effect. We have two types of blur effects, circle and lines, and you can also change the amount of blur intensity you want. This is not a big feature, but if you're someone who likes to take a lot of time-lapse, then it might be pretty handy. Next we have a brand new feature called AI Mixed Portrait mode. Using this feature, we can record two videos and merge them in two different ways, and you get two completely different effects. For this feature, we use the edge detection feature from the regular portrait shots. Now here's a quick sample. Next we have Neon Portrait. This is a new portrait related feature, and here's a quick preview. Next we have Dynamic Bokeh effect. Now this is something related to the portrait shots and their background blur effect. Next we have some new color filters for the night mode, and here's a quick preview. Next we have dual view video. Now this feature allows you to use the footage from both the front and rear cameras at the same time. There are 3 different modes. First we have the split screen mode where both the front and rear cameras get half of the screen. Next we have a round mode where the front camera footage is overlaid on the rear camera footage as a small round pop-up. We also have the rectangle mode where the same front camera footage is overlaid on the rear camera in the form of a small rectangular pop-up. It's a pretty cool feature, especially if you are someone who likes to vlog a lot. Next we have a new feature called video bokeh for the front camera. And just like the name suggests, we can record video with a background blur effect even with the front facing camera. Earlier we used to have this feature for the rear camera, but now we also have it for the front camera. Next we have a brand new personalization section where you can do all kinds of customizations. Right now there are very limited options, but we might get more options with a future update. Next we have double tap to lock. Now once you enable this feature, you can just double tap on an empty area of your home screen to lock your phone. This feature works only with the default launcher. So if you install any third-party launcher, say like the Nova launcher, then this feature will not work. Going on next, we have some brand new features like dual mode audio, where you can play the audio both from the wired earphones and Bluetooth headphones at the same time. Next we have smooth scrolling. This is just an add-on feature which will make scrolling feel much more smoother. Well, even if you enable this feature, you really won't know if it's working or not, but it's all about the experience. Personally, I don't want to use this feature, so I'll just disable it. Next we have DC dimming. This is an anti-screen flicker feature where it reduces the screen flickering issues in low brightness. This is a good feature, but it's kind of in a beta phase and it might cause display issues and auto brightness issues. So I would not recommend you to try this feature unless you're really facing some problem. Next we have a new feature called sleep capsule. Now this feature allows you to restrict your phone usage at night, or you can just specify the timing for better rest and sleep. Next we have some new fingerprint animation styles. So these are all the different styles and you can choose the one that you like. Now coming back to the camera features once again, next we have AI screen enhancement. Now this is a very unique feature available only on this phone or Realme and Oppo phones. And once you turn it on, everything will pop out, colors will look super saturated and images will look very pleasing. Next we have portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. Now this isn't a very big feature, it's been around for many years, so I won't talk about much. These are some sample shots. Next we also have a dedicated face beauty mode. Now this brings in a lot of cool features like it can smoothen your skin, make your face thinner and even smaller, and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Have a look at this. Next, this phone also supports slow motion video recording. This phone can record at 120fps at 1080p resolution, 240fps at 720p resolution, and an insane 960fps at 720p resolution. Here's a quick sample. Next, this phone has electronic image stabilization for both the front and rear camera video recording. This applies only at 1080p, and here's a quick sample. Next, this phone has support for recording video in 4K resolution. You can change the video resolution from the toggles at the top. Now here's a sample footage recorded in 4K resolution, downscaled to 1080p. For the rear camera, it has just one gesture, that's tap to take pictures. Just enable this feature and touch the preview window to take a picture. Now for the front camera, it also has the palm gesture, and once you enable this feature, whenever your phone sees your palm, it takes a picture in 2 seconds. This feature is really handy for taking selfies. Next we have AI color portrait. You can find it from the filters, And once you enable this feature, you can capture the subject in color while the background is in black and white. This feature works better with human subjects. And you can also record videos in this mode, and this works at night as well. Next we have night mode. Now this is the famous feature that allows you to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Whenever you are taking pictures in low lighting conditions, just make sure to switch to the night mode to get better pictures. These are some sample shots. Next we have Pro Night mode. In night mode, if you enable the Pro toggle, you get more options to manually control, like adjusting ISO, shutter speed, white balance and more. Do give it a try. Next we have Starry mode. In night mode, tap on the Starry mode and now your phone will be able to capture the stars if you keep your phone steadily. For better results, use a tripod or just don't hold the phone in your hands. Just place it somewhere safe. Next we have Always on display. Now this is something you might have already heard or seen, and you can enable this feature from the display settings. Once you enable this feature, you can see your clock face on the lock screen. With that said, here's a quick preview. By the way, we can also schedule it to automatically turn on and turn off at a specific time. Next we have dark mode. This is another famous feature, and once you enable this feature, it'll change all the UI elements to the dark mode or the dark theme. Things like notification panel, home screen or even settings all change to the dark mode. Some of the system applications like the phone dialer SMS application also change to the dark mode. Some Google applications like Play Store and YouTube also automatically change to the dark mode. Next we have Super Power Saver mode. Once you enable this feature, your phone turns on dark mode, restricts performance, reduces battery usage and gives you few applications that you can use, and also gives you the option to add few more apps. In this mode, phone's standby time increases drastically. By the way, we can still use internet in this mode. It does consume more battery, but it is definitely better than the regular mode. Next we have Eye Comfort mode. It's just another name for the reading mode, and once you enable it, it puts a warm tint on the screen to reduce the blue light emitted from the display. It also has the black and white mode, where it turns the whole display black and white. Next it has something called Real Sound technology. Now if you want to improve the audio experience on the headset, just enable Real Sound technology from the sound settings and you will definitely see a noticeable difference. We have a new navigation gesture called Swipe from both sides. Now once you enable this feature, you can swipe from the bottom to go home, swipe and hold for recent tabs, and finally swipe from the left side or right side to go back a step. These are the new swipe gestures even seen on Android 10, and it's already available on this phone. Now going on next, we have a super handy shortcut to trigger Google Assistant with the power button. Once you enable this feature, you can long press the power button to trigger Google Assistant. It's a nice feature and can be quite useful while using the navigation gestures, but I don't think this power button will last longer if you use it continuously. Next, I'm going to show you how to take screenshots on this phone. Well, there are mainly two ways. One is by using the buttons. Just press the volume down and power button both at the same time to take a screenshot. Next, we also have the 3-finger screenshot gesture. Once enabled, you can just swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. By default, this gesture is always enabled. Next, I'm going to show you how to take a long screenshot. First, take a screenshot. You can either use the buttons or the gesture. Once you have the preview of the screenshot, just swipe it down to take a long screenshot. Next, we have partial screenshot. For this feature, we are going to use that 3-finger screenshot gesture in a different way. Once you enable this feature, you can just touch and hold the screen to take a partial screenshot. You just need to place the 3 fingers, then slide it slowly to take a partial screenshot. Now going on next, this one even comes with screen recording. I really don't know why you want to record your screen, especially on an Android phone, but for some reason if you want to record it, you can start it from the notification toggles, or you can also use the smart bar, which can be accessed from anywhere by swiping on the right side corner. You can stop recording by clicking the stop button on the floating bubble. Next we have Flash on Call. Once you enable this feature, every time you get a call, flashlight on the phone blinks to give you an indication. This feature can be quite useful when your phone is in silent mode. Next we have a feature called Vibrate when you answer an end call. Just like the name suggests, every time you answer a call or end a call, your phone vibrates. It's not a big feature, but adds to the overall experience. Next we have a feature that identifies unknown numbers. Once you enable this feature, whenever you get a call from any unknown number, your phone will check its online database and try to find the contact name. This can be quite useful to check spam calls. Next, we have a feature called Screen On End Calls with Power button. Once you enable this feature, you can end calls by pressing the power button when the display is on. When the display is off, clicking the power button just turns on the display. Next, we have split screen mode. Now, split screen mode has been on Android for a very long time, but on this phone, we have some more features. Now, to start a split screen mode, as always, you can simply press and hold the recent apps button. Or on this phone, you can also use the 3-finger gesture. Simply swipe up using 3 fingers to open the current application in a split screen mode. You can choose a secondary application from the list below. Personally, I like this gesture and I wish every other phone has it. Next, we have some screen off gestures like double tap to wake. Just enable it and double tap the screen to wake it up. Next, you can draw a note to open the camera application. We can also draw a V to toggle the torch. We can also draw characters like greater than or less than for music controls. And finally, you can add custom gestures like you can draw a W to open WhatsApp, M for phone dialer, and so on. Next, we have raise to wake. Now, once you enable this feature, you can simply raise your phone or pick it up from a table and your phone wakes up and then displays the lock screen. Next, we have flip to mute incoming calls. Now, just like the name suggests, once you enable this feature, you can flip your phone to silence an incoming call. Next, we have one-handed mode. You can enable this feature from the toggles, and once you click on it, screen size will shrink and your phone becomes much more usable one-handed. Once you're done, you can click the button on the top corner to go full screen. Next, we have digital well-being. Now, this is a feature from Google that tracks all your usage on your phone and gives you a complete analysis of which apps you're using more, and then helps you limit your usage and block notifications from those applications. Next, we have wind down. This feature is part of digital well-being, which can help you sleep faster at night. Using this feature, you can schedule your phone to turn on grayscale mode and do not disturb mode automatically at a specific time. Next, we have OSIE visual effect. This feature slightly improves the picture quality of the display by making content from apps like TikTok, VMate, and more look more pleasing. It does work, but right now only few applications support it, and it does drain your battery. Now, going on next, this phone has a very unique feature called Smart Sidebar. It is enabled by default, and this is how it looks like. You have some quick shortcuts, quick actions, and some quick applications. You can access it from anywhere. Even while watching videos or playing games in full screen mode, you can swipe near the notch area to bring it up. From here, you can quickly launch applications, take a screenshot, record the screen, block banner notifications, and finally open few applications in a floating window. Next, we have Assistive Ball. Now, just in case if navigation gestures are not really your thing, but you still want a much more immersive experience, you can enable Assistive Ball. Once you enable this feature, you'll see a floating bubble that can do multiple actions. Now, first you need to select the operation mode. You have gestures and tap mode. I'll go with gestures. Now you can tap once to go back, double tap for multitasking, and touch and hold to go home. If you select tap, once you click it, you just get additional options, just like the iPhones and iPads. Now this is another way to interact with your phone and gives you a much more immersive experience. Next, we have Startup Manager. Now, just like the name suggests, it's a feature that allows you to stop applications from auto-starting in the background. Now, most of these applications automatically start in the background and then drain your battery life. And for the most part, just applications like maybe Instagram or WhatsApp needs to be allowed to auto start. So you can disable auto start permission for all these applications and further improve the battery life. Next, we have an app lock built into the system. And unlike most phones, we can unlock locked applications either by using the password or the fingerprint scanner, and even by using the face unlock feature. So if you're already using face unlock feature on your phone, most of the time you won't even see the lock screen. Now, because of this one particular feature, you can lock any application you want and you won't be inconvenienced in any way. Next, we have clone apps, which is a feature that allows you to use two instances of the same application. Like you can have two WhatsApp accounts, two Facebook accounts, and two Instagram accounts on the same phone. This is definitely a very handy feature, but it is still limited to only very few applications. Let's say if I want to use two Paytm accounts on the same phone, we can't do that. Next, we have Game Space. Now this feature or application just tries to improve your gaming experience and gives you a lot more cool features. Now once you add all your games to this game space and then open that game, your phone will divert all the resources to improve your gaming experience. It means faster game load speeds, better visuals, and more than that, it gives you the option for Do Not Disturb mode, where you won't be interrupted with annoying notification sounds or visual disturbances like banner notifications. You also have different power profiles to improve the performance or battery life. It also gives you the option to disable auto brightness, which is missing on many phones out there. Next we have Private Safe. Now this feature is more like an application or like a vault where you can hide all kinds of files. Just like the app lock, we can have a completely different password from your lock screen and we can unlock it using your fingerprint or your facial data. Personally, I suggest you to use Gallery Vault. Next we have Automatic On-Off. Now this is another weird name for schedule power on and power off, and using these settings, we can automatically turn on and turn off your phone at a specific time. Next we have Smart Energy Saver. Now this is another feature to improve your battery life. If you enable it, your phone will automatically manage all the apps running in the background to improve the battery life. If you disable it, you get the complete list of applications that are installed on your phone, and you can manually choose to block an application from running in the background. Next we have Kid Space. If your kid is troubling you about your phone, he wants to play some games, or maybe sometimes he accidentally purchases stuff, Kid Space can be quite useful for you. Once you configure this Kid Space, your kid will be able to only use specific applications that you choose, and he will be able to use your phone only for a specific amount of time. Once again, it's a nice feature, but if your kid already knows your password, it's completely useless. So guys, those were all the best features. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video, and make sure you check out my video on tips and tricks section. Link will be in the description. Now if you're planning to buy this phone, please use the link in the description. It always helps the channel, and if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.